My guest today is Avi Pinsky. Avi is known as the business finance doctor. After more than a decade as a public accountant, he realized that business owners need more than financial statements, they need clarity. Through his business wellness checks, Avi helps small business owners identify hidden financial roadblocks in their companies, track key metrics, and create actionable monthly plans to drive profit and consistent cash flow. Thanks so much for being here today, Avi.
Thanks for having me.
I am thrilled to have you here. We're going to do three tips. And so, my first question is this: why is cash flow so hard to control? And what can businesses do differently starting this month?
Okay, so why is it so hard to control? A lot of times it's not in your control. So that's part of it, right? A lot of times if you have business or not business, but if you have clients that just don't pay you on time, so that's going to affect your cash flow heavily, very heavily. So that's one reason why cash flow is hard to control. Another reason is because it's not understood, right? Business owners oftentimes will understand how to service their clients, how to get clients. They might even understand their profit and loss statement, their income statement, or their balance sheet, but they don't understand the statement of cash flows. They don't understand how, let's say, maybe inventory, if it's an inventory business, they don't understand how making more inventory is sucking out their cash from their bank account, even though it's not necessarily bringing in revenue until the product is sold. So while they might look at their P&L on a regular basis, they might look at their balance sheet on a regular basis, they're not looking at a statement of cash flows, and nobody's explaining to them how that affects their bank account. So I'd say that's probably the biggest issue is just they don't know what they're looking at. They don't know how to make that jump from revenue to actual money in the bank.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay, so what can they do starting this
So
month
what can they
to
do?
change that dynamic?
So the first thing is get a little bit of an education, right? Start understanding these things. If your accountant or your bookkeeper doesn't have the time to explain it to you, find somebody who can. Oftentimes they are the bookkeeper and their accountant, their jobs are very important. They're needed, they're necessary. I have a CPA, I am an accountant, I'm a recovering accountant, but I have that training nonetheless. And their business, their job is to focus on the past. You need somebody who's going to help you translate that to the future, to predictions, to making changes on the business so that any cash flows that crept up in the past, you'll know what to do about it so that you don't have those issues going forward. So, first thing, understand what went wrong, what went right, and what went wrong, and then understand what you can do about it so that less of the wrong happens and more of the right happens. And sometimes that means bringing in another party who's not the bookkeeper, not your tax accountant, but somebody who has more of a CFO type of a hat on that can explain it to you and explain how you can make changes so that going forward you won't have the same issues. People think they hear CFO, they'll think, oh, that's for big companies, public traded companies, but really any business needs somebody who's monitoring that data, that information on a regular basis so that they can use that going forward to make changes to the business. Sometimes that could be the CEO if he has an understanding of the numbers and of what they're telling him. Sometimes it could be the bookkeeper if you have a bookkeeper that has that bandwidth. Oftentimes that's not the case, and you should bring in an external CFO.
Got it. That's wonderful. Thank you. Excuse me. So now I want to talk about KPIs. So, how should business owners define and track their KPIs, their key performance indicators?
Yeah, so every business is going to be different as to what those KPIs are. One that I think everybody needs to have some sort of grasp on is your cash conversion cycle, right? How long does it take from when I lay down the first dollar to buy my inventory or to pay for my bills? From when the first dollar goes out of my pocket, how many days do I have until the money starts coming in from my clients, from my customers? Is it a 1 week turnover? Is it a 1 month turnover? And how much money do I have in the bank at any given time to cover that lag? right? If my cash conversion cycle takes a month from the time I lay out money until I collect it, do I have a month in the bank to spare? Or do I only have a couple days? Oftentimes, a lot of businesses, unfortunately, only have a couple days. So, what happens if business stops? Nobody's going to cover that gap for you. So that's the cash conversion cycle. Having some understanding of where you hold, or what amount of days, weeks, months that is very important.
Yeah.
And along with that, how much money you have on the bank, right? How many months of expenses can you cover
Oh,
with your bank balance, so that if business stops tomorrow, does the business stop tomorrow, or can you keep going for a couple months until it picks up again? And that's going to also depend on the seasonality of the business, right? If you have certain businesses that are very, very seasonal, you need to make sure during those down seasons you have enough cash on hand to cover your, whatever expenses you might have during that time.
yeah. Yeah. Wow. Those are great. I'm so glad I asked the question because I think those are absolutely key. And I think they're things that people do not spend time on. So
Sure.
those are
Yeah.
great. Okay. Here's our third and final tip. What is a simple way to evaluate whether your business is financially healthy?
So I look at three numbers
Okay.
and in growing up importance. So the first one is the revenue, right? How much money's coming in on a monthly, weekly, yearly basis. More important than that is the profitability, right? Because you could be making a lot of money. If I could sell my service for, $3 to a million people, pull in $1 million, pull in $3 million.
Yeah.
But if it costs me $10 for each product that I sell, so there you go, I just lost $7 million, right? So are you profitable? Right? It's not just a matter of how much you're bringing in, but how much profitability does the business have? So that's the second most important.
Yeah.
The problem is that's kind of where a lot of business owners stop, as we discussed before,
Yeah.
and those numbers are very much theoretical, right? They're on paper. They can you can easily change those numbers by playing certain accounting tricks and how you categorize certain things. So the third number that I look at in terms of that overall health of the business, and the most important, is the cash flow, right? Is the business providing for the business owner the cash flow that they need to sustain their life? Because end of the day, you're not opening a business so that on paper it looks good. You're opening a business so that it can pay your bills, so that it can pay your expenses, your mortgage, your tuition costs, pay for your bills, your food, your rent, whatever it is. So those are the three numbers that I look at. Does it have good revenue? Is it profitable? And then does it provide cash flow?
Love it. Fabulous. Yeah, all about it. Totally all about it. I say that all the time. It's not about, because when I teach sales, it's not about the revenue, it's about the profit, right? So,
Exactly.
and the cash flow.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Avi, thank you for providing these three tips. Would you please let everyone know how they can find you?
So you can go to my website, pinskyconsulting.com. You can find me on LinkedIn as well. You might have to search for my full name, Avraham Pinsky, but Avi Pinsky will probably get you there as well. But yeah, so if you go to my website, Pinsky Consulting, you can find me there. You can sign up for a free business wellness checkup. You can also look there for a free Excel download that you can use to set targets for your business and see how is your business performing, right? There's a scorecard there that you can use and determine whether your business is doing well, or maybe there's some areas that you need to make some changes.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much. I so appreciate
Thanks for
you.
having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And listeners, thank you. You are who we're doing this for.